The reason we exist is because you cannot stay ahead of all threats. So what we do is we block by default.
Hey, what's going on? You're here with E-Tech Millie, and what we're going to be doing for session, this is going to be session 2 of, hold on, let me wrap that up real quick. All right, there we go. So we're going to be training today, card wrapping, week 1, day 1, session 2. All right, there should be at least 3 more sessions for today, going over this and that and watching videos. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to watch about 25 minutes of training, of actually identifying what some other people have thought about, the cast versus calendared and whatever kind of information they have about whatever kind of paper businesses out there. But the 3 paper businesses we're going to focus on is 3M, Vinyl Frog, and Vivek. Those are the 3 that we're going to be really comparing. And then we're also going to be looking on the it's going to be product comparing website as far as which one's good or bad. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so right now what I like to identify is just the brands itself, the quality, and just going through the prices, and we're gonna go there. So let's go ahead and look at the 3 brands that we talked about. 3M, and then see if they have Vinyl Frog. They ain't got Vinyl Frog. But they ain't even have Vivek. So yeah, let's look at 3M. So this is $3 of paint protection film wrap. So 3 inches by 5 inches. So 3 by 5. And that's for $3. Alright, that's not much. That right there, it's not even a foot. So that's like 15 inches. 15 inches. Okay, so it's like a foot of it, a little bit bigger than a square foot. And $3, okay. Whatever it's supposed to wrap. So that's all the same now. Look like different colors. That's best selling. So if you want to wrap up a car, so let's verse a sedan versus bike versus let's say a 14-foot box truck versus a what's a good vehicle? Let's say E-Class. All right, so those are the ones that we're going to compare. All right, sedan size is always going to be a factor. All right, so yeah, let me look something up real quick. So all right, so we want more than that. We want more than 3 inches. So you got to do the math on it. So when they say 5 by 8, that's 40. That's 40 feet. All right. So it's 40 feet. Let's go 5 by 8. Okay. What can 5 by 8 cover? Yeah. Okay, so if we were to, what can a 5 by 8 vinyl wrap cover? All right, 40 square feet. Because most wrap vinyls come 60 inches, 5 feet wide. That width is perfect for full hood, most cars, full roof, most sedans, trunk lid, one large side panel, sometimes 2 doors if small car, motorcycle tank plus fenders. And important, you always need extra for mistakes, stretching, overlap, cutting waste. Real usable coverage from 40 square feet is more likely 32 to 35 square feet. And that's meaning that you're going to have a little error. You're going to mess up a little bit. Then you're going to have some waste. That's true. All right. How much vinyl is needed? So for a sedan, all right, it's going to need 250 to 300 square feet. So that equals 50 by 60. All right. Let's look. My bad. I'm looking at some work. That equals 50 by to 60 linear feet of 5 feet wide vinyl. Most installers buy 5 by 55 feet roll. It's 275 square feet. So E-Class is about the same. Motorcycle, what's that? Sport bike, full wrap, 50 to 70. Cruiser, 70 to 100. So we're gonna say 80. And that means you need 2 sheets, 5x8 minimum. Then we talk about the 14 foot. All right, that sounds like 98 square feet per side. Size alone 196 square feet. And then if you want to do the roof, because let's face it, nowadays we coming out with them drones, or we flying over some stuff nowadays. So yeah, doing the top, doing that roof is needed too. So 500, and just so 500. And what I meant by E-Class, I wasn't talking about like E-Class like the Benz. I was more like E-Class like the dang vans, those type deals. So we're gonna have to come back to that. So looking at this, it seems like if we were to do a bunch of bikes, it's gonna be more curvy. It's gonna have more mess ups in theory, but it's only 80 square feet needed. For a sedan, it's going to be 275 square feet. For the 14-foot box truck, it's going to be 500 square feet. So let's go ahead and put that into cost. All right, and we're going to say if it's $3, how much is it per? All right, so let's say 5x55, $2,000. Yeah, this is 3M. And after that, that's how much it will cost for that. If it is a box truck that you're doing, 14 foot, so what's 255 there, 250, 50 is 250, so 50, 100. So it'd be like, yeah, 2,700, and then 2,700. Okay, 2,730, $600. So it's $3,600 for the 14-foot box truck. For the sedan, it's $2,000, and the bike is 5x40. I'm assuming. Yeah, 5x40, because that equals 80, and that's gonna run 1527. All right, so let's go ahead and check out 3M, and then we're going to do a little bit looking at the vinyl frog and the Vivic. But for right now, we can say that for a sedan, we're going to estimate $275, and with the sedan, it's going to be 275 feet is what's needed. So 5x55 feet is needed, and with 3M it told us it was $2,000. If we were going to do a bike, it will be 80 square feet that's going to be needed, and it's going to be about $1,500. If it is a 14-foot box truck, which would be about 500 square feet, that'll be $3,600. So those are how much 3M would cost with whatever you're trying to deal with. So what I'm looking at doing now is looking at the quality of 3M, looking at their actual website, and checking out a few of their programs, because they do have programs to help us learn how to install and to be able to identify if something's good or bad, you know. So here we go. So post-factory installation. Learn the proper skills and technique with 3M installer trainings. With the extensive hands-on training course for 3M Wrap Film Series 2080, 3M Paint Protection Film, and 3M Automotive Window Film, trained experts will help you take your skills to the next level. So when is this? You mentioned all of those high tech names. Aerotech. All right. Best in class installer training and testing programs across the country. All 3M installer training courses are taught by, okay, all right. Yes, these are the companies that are doing the trainings. So in my case, I'm in Atlanta, I'm in Houston, one of the two. So I didn't see no Atlanta. I seen Houston though. All right, so let's look at it. Paint protection film. Okay, that's what it's teaching. 2-day training course. Let's see how much is running. All right. So, see how long I got. 27 minutes. Okay. All right. So yeah, what I plan on doing is I plan on finding like a few locations that if you or me were to be interested into getting into, that we can go ahead and look at. So what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be transitioning to a couple videos on identifying the best wraps.
Bubbles here, and if I just press them, they go away, right? It's really easy to work with. Look at that. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to answer the question, what is the best vinyl wrap for beginners? And honestly, the answer, right behind me. These are the 3 brands that I use in the shop: Avery Dennison, KPMF, and 3M. Now, I will use some other brands if customers are like dead set on it, but I prefer to use these 3 brands. Why? Because they're cast films, not calendared. Now, I think I'm gonna make another video going more into depth between the difference of cast and calendared films, but these cast films are so much easier to install than calendared films. Yes, I know people will say, well, you know, if you're a real installer, you should be able to install everything. Fine, whatever. But these are easier, trust me. Especially if you're a beginner, these are way easier. Now, these films, they're not without their flaws. Each brand, Avery, KPMF, and 3M, they all have pros and cons to each. So I'm gonna go through that in this video, and then you can make that decision which one you think is best for you. Now, I guess I should say this is not a sponsored video. Obviously, this is just my opinion. We're gonna start with Avery, and now this is my favorite vinyl to install just because It's so freaking easy to use. It doesn't matter if you've never touched vinyl before. Once you use this, you'll understand how vinyl is supposed to feel. So we're gonna use this scrap. Let me just unroll it here. And the reason I've chosen this color is because you'll see the issue with Avery. Like I said, every vinyl has pros and cons. So Avery's pro is that it's super easy to stretch and move around. It's really thin. It's just incredibly malleable. And as a beginner, you definitely want that. So we'll unroll it. I've chosen this area because see, we have this high spot here and a high spot over here. I want to play around with kind of getting the vinyl tacked on these high spots, I guess. See, so if you're trying to glass it out and you're moving the vinyl around, it's kind of sticking on these high points. I'm trying to mess up a little here. I have to pick this up. I'm going to try and get the negative effect that Avery can have. Let's see if I can do it. So do that. Try and glass out this side as best we can. Look how easy it is to pick up, right? It's so light, so easy to use. Do that. Again, I'm trying to rub the vinyl on these high points, and you'll see why. Let's see if I can do it here. There, yeah, okay, perfect. So I got it right there. I'll bring in the camera here to show you what I'm talking about. Let's just quickly get this down. This recess here, which you would always want to feed into. Talking about technique. Oh, yeah, I think we'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Look along this raised body line here. You see how it's kind of pitted a little bit? It looks like there's dust or something stuck under there. See if I can get a better angle of it somewhere. Kind of right here. I don't know if you can catch that. It's not orange peel. It looks like it's bumpy, right? When you have these areas that look like there's dust under your film and you're like, I swear I cleaned, there's no dust. You're probably right, and there is no contaminant, there is no dust left behind. That's what we call sanding. Now, how that happens and the way that happens, this is what I was trying to show when I was installing it. It's that when you're dragging the vinyl across those raised areas on the hood or whatever panel you're wrapping, it causes the adhesive to ball up. So what you're actually seeing there is the adhesive on the vinyl. Now, to avoid that, you have to lift up the vinyl and pull it when you're glassing out instead of dragging it across the surface. So, in my opinion, this is the #1 negative of Avery film, but it's pretty easy to counteract. Just don't pull across the surface. Make sure you lift the vinyl up to avoid that adhesive getting balled up and looking like dust or a contaminant, because it prevents you from getting that perfect finish that you want. Okay, we're done with Avery, so let's move on to the next one. Now we have KPMF, and you're gonna see the difference. So this is probably my second favorite out of these three. Unroll it. Oh, we have a bit too much, but whatever. Let me tack this down here. This is still obviously a very good film. Not as good as Avery, in my opinion, but very close. Get in the way. So what's the main difference, in my opinion, between Avery and KPMF? KPMF isn't as flowy, isn't as easy to use as Avery. You might see that here. See, it sticks a bit more. You can hear the adhesive, but it's not like a calendared film. It comes up very easily. And glassing it out, you saw how easily I could pull Avery. I got to put a bit more force into this one. Just listen, you can hear how much stronger the adhesive is, and it's not like it's impossible or bad. It's just stronger, right? So listen, right? The Avery does not sound like that when you try and pick it up. So it has more of a bite, I guess you could say, because it's stickier, has more bite. It doesn't slide over the surface as well. See, it's like, it's hard to get it to do that. So it's harder to get that adhesive, that sanding effect. A lot of initial tap.
I ain't got that much food.
There. But you can still glass it out. I'm going to squeegee. And the air release on this is also really good. You can see we have air bubbles here. And if I just press them, they go away, right? So KPMF's good that way. If I get a wrinkle, I can just pick it up. You know, I'd put some heat, but it's really easy to work with. Look at that. Super easy to squeegee. Get a bubble. It's fine. Just lift it up.
These transforming glasses automatically adjust to what you're looking at. All glasses have this tiny flaw, but we fixed it.
So if we come back to that same area, we have some scratches here, but that just comes out with heat. If we look at the finish, we see we have that orange peel, but that pebble effect, it's not here. Down here, you can see the finish looks much cleaner. That textured, again, is just in the vinyl underneath, but you don't see that balling up adhesive. So for KPMF, I guess the negative, in my opinion, is that the initial tack is stronger, the adhesive is stronger, so it's harder to glass out the film. And when I say harder, I don't mean it's impossible or difficult. It's just Avery is so easy that KPMF, on that scale, it's going towards the more difficult side, but it's still on the easy half of the scale. So now that we've done that, let's go to 3M. Okay, last one. This is 3M, and we're gonna see how it installs. So let's roll it out. Okay, so initial tack, look at that. Like no initial tack. It doesn't even grab. But if you press, now all of a sudden, right, pressure activated. So really easy to move around. This is how you get sanding, but look at that. Super easy, which makes it super easy to glass out. So let's see if we can do it. There we go. Okay. Forget pulling it around and messing around too much. So you may not notice right now, but I'll show you what this has to protect the film even more. So first, we're just going to squeegee this and see how the air releases. Look at that. Super easy. But 3M does have a problem. I don't know if it's going to happen here because the vehicle's warm. The hood is warm, the engine was running, that kind of stuff. But we'll see. So I'm just going to squeegee really quick. Glue lines is a bit of a problem with 3M. Let's see if I got one there when I picked it up. I can't really tell. Maybe a little bit. I'll show you that. The cool thing about this line from 3M, I should know if it's on every color, but I'm not certain. Might be all of the 2080 series, but I don't know, so don't quote me on it. But they have a protective cover. So if I go to the edge here and pull this, look at this. So Avery and KPMF do not have this. Look at that. Protects the film, looks amazing. I love that. So we're gonna put a heat gun on this, and what I'm expecting to see is bubbles, like air bubbles, pop up, which I never noticed before. It looked like I squeegeed them all out. Now, I think this is a new thing. In the last couple of batches of 3M that I've ordered, this has happened, and it's pretty frustrating. You gotta squeegee the thing like 100 times. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't know, maybe the adhesive's different now, but let's see if that's true with this piece. We're gonna look for any big bubbles to pop up. Okay, starting to see some there. Seeing the look. That over there is whatever. So I didn't really squeegee over there. No real bad ones actually. Okay, got some right there. Little bubble there. Okay. So that actually answers the question that I have in my mind. And that question had to do with heat. Now, whenever you message 3M saying I'm having an issue or what should I do here, usually, in my experience, their response has something to do with heat. Shop's not warm enough, the vinyl's not warm enough, the car you're working on is not warm enough, something like that. So given all of that, the car is warm here, the vinyl's pretty warm, the shop's pretty warm because it's a warm day, and knowing those things now, you can see that when I was trying to look for air bubbles coming out, I didn't really get any. So I guess, like, keep that in mind. If you're using 3M, kind of bump up the heat in your shop to where it's noticeably warm, right? much warmer, maybe a couple degrees, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees warmer than normal. And then just by this little experiment here, I didn't have to worry about those bubbles appearing after I squeegeed. Another negative of 3M, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. This is just me being picky right there. See that line right there? So that's when I picked up the vinyl just to correct that little wrinkle I had. It left a glue line. Now, I'm not hating on 3M and saying it's the only vinyl that leaves glue lines. 100% not. But it seems like it's easier. Glue lines are easier to create in a 3M film than other films. KPMF, I think it's really difficult to have glue lines. Avery is a bit easier, but 3M is like super easy to have glue lines. So you really don't want to be picking up the vinyl too many times. Otherwise, you'll get things like that. So that's it. We have Avery, KPMF, 3M, and coincidentally, this is the order that I would pick them in, my preference. Avery number 1, KPMF number 2, 3M number 3. As far as price goes, KPMF from my suppliers is the cheapest. Avery is a bit more expensive, and then 3M is the most expensive, but only like 10% more. It's not like double. So if you're a beginner or like a DIY or you want to wrap your car, you don't know what vinyls to get, 100%, please guys, pick a cast film from one of these three, Avery, KPMF, or 3M, and you'll be happy. If you pick those calendared films or those like combination ones, like whatever they're called, it's a headache, man. Trust me, it's a headache. And you're gonna think vinyl wrapping is way harder than it actually is. It's not that hard. And when you have a good film, you realize that you could definitely do this on your own. So hope this helps. If you have any questions, ask in the comments. And thanks for watching.
Fear is a thief, it steals from the bold. It whispers like truth, but it's lies that it told. It tells you to wait, it tells you to hide, but nothing worth having comes easy in life. So I shut it out, I silence the noise, I choose my path, I raise my voice.
Hey, would you like your very own Shopify store? We're literally, and completely free by the way. We are live streaming right now. If you click the link.
And remember, you get...
All right. So let's look at something real quick. All right. So a lot of squeegeeing, a lot of lifting, a lot of laying. That's what I'm noticing. The 3M pressure activated is something that I really seen. Like, oh man, that was real nice, because you can tell like the other ones where it was a high quality, but it wasn't as, like, you can tell like 3M make it so easy to get it done. So that's one thing I did notice. Except one of the complaints that he was saying was the glue lines, and it's saying is very easy with the 3M, as well as the 3M having the plastic protective cover over it. That's something that I was like, okay, all right, I can work with that. So that is another thing that's a pro with that. That's a pro. It is, and what the guy was saying, he was saying in his shop, this a lot of times they'll leave the shop and then a heat bump will pop up. So the people recommended to raise the temperature of the shop a little bit, so that way when you do leave the shop, a heat bump would have already been noticeable before leaving the shop, as opposed to we in AC and they leave and all of a sudden, boom, that heat bump come, and now we got to deal with it again. So yeah, the glue lines are easy with the 3M. So that's one thing that I picked up from that guy. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. So, but just recap: the Avery, the KPMF, and then the 3M. That's what he said. Avery was number 1, KPMF was number 2, and 3M was number 3 off of the choices.
Get what you pay for. So if you went and got cheap vinyl and he was like, you got a hell of a deal on it, just know you got a hell of a problem on your hands too. Then you end up balling it up and it was supposed to get in the trash and throwing it away, because that's what you're gonna do. Or your vehicle is gonna look the same way as this garbage can. Trash. I'm about to show you some of the best vinyl brands to use as a beginner. Yes, I know the struggles that you deal with because you don't know the right vinyls to use. And it gets really frustrating because the vinyl starts to do things that you never thought it could do. And yes, some of these vinyls are very easy to work with, especially for beginners. And that's what we're here to break down. But let's jump straight into it. Come on, let's go. Come with me. But first, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because we got more tips like this coming for each and every video that's coming out. Subscribe. Well, I already know you like this car right here. This is GT Mustang. What color's on this? I know you're asking that. This is 3M. This color right here is a pretty exclusive color too. And if you haven't seen it, take a look right here. Ha! I told you that thing looked really nice. 3M makes some of the best quality vinyl there is, especially for installers that are new, just like yourself. So, this right here is 3M, but the racing stripes on here is Avery Dennison. What is Avery Dennison, you ask? I'm glad you asked that. Avery Dennison is another type of vinyl that is extremely good to use, has hundreds on hundreds of colors that makes it that much more available for you to use. But the question is it really that easy? As you see right here, this clip right here is where I'm showing you how I'm wrapping this multi-color, which we also call color flow. Other people call it chameleon, but I wrapped this with Avery Dennison in this Audi, and it looks impeccable. I was fairly new at this. It was about 2 to 3 years in. But even when I was in my first year, before I even really got to understand vinyl, this helped a lot. This vinyl actually made it to where I understood how to work the vinyl and also not overstretch it or cause it to burn in just crazy holes in it. Other vinyls that may be a little bit cheaper are thicker and they are not as easy to work with because it's so thick and it's such a stronger tack. And the problems you may deal with are similar to this, where the vinyl just lays down and it starts tacking immediately and causing creases and bubbles without you even squeegeeing. And we all know you don't want to do that, especially if it's your first time wrapping. Now, what makes these two vinyls very easy to use? Well, first off, number one, it has air regress features. So that means any types of air that you may or may not see can easily be pushed out because it has channels in it. Small microscopic channels, very small, that is able to egress out up under the vinyl without causing any other extra problems. The next feature, it is very repositionable. So you can actually lay it down and then lift it back up to reposition it into the right spaces that you need. And lay it back down and it still works fine. But just keep in mind, with something that is this thin of vinyl, it can be overstretched, and that's where the problem lies. Overstretching vinyl is a very common issue, and it can cause more problems than a little bit. And what you don't want is to leave the overstretched vinyl there and then causing it to peel back, because what will make it peel back? You guessed it, the sun. Extreme heat, even if it
You get a brand new AC and heating system in Metro Atlanta from just $72 per month with 0% financing for
It doesn't have to be super extreme. Just a good 80-degree weather day will make it peel back very easily. And the best quality that these two vinyls have is that it's very light tacking. You will get to experience, if you haven't already, harder vinyls to deal with. Yes, that light tacking feature is my favorite feature on vinyls that are new to you. Because as a new installer, you need to make your life extremely easy, and you don't want to have problems, especially when you're starting out. You're trying to learn and understand how to wrap the vinyl or wrap your car in this specific vinyl. And you do not want to have problems causing yourself frustration and careless mistakes, because that will happen and you don't want to make more of those. Compounding that with harder vinyls is going to make you quit or have a bad outcome. But there's other vinyls out there that is just as good too.
I'm like, for what? Like what?
KPM is also my third favorite one to use because it does have an abundance of colors, still pretty easy to use, a little bit more stronger of a tack. The tack quality is not strong in the beginning, but the longer it sits, the stronger it gets. And pain. We both know you are not trying to go through pain like this. You want to make this fun and enjoyable so you can do the next one or your next car. And if you're still struggling with wrapping, I suggest you come and join our class. Just because we're going to show you tips and tricks that you probably haven't seen here or on YouTube.
And also, we're gonna show you how to fix your mistakes and make sure that you become a pro once you leave our class. We have a 5-day class, 3-day class, and a 1-day class. We also travel. So if you wanna join in on it, come on, contact us. We're always here to help you.
In my first year, those are the only 3 brands that I like to use. I've tried other ones and it showed me right then and there on the first panel that I wrapped, it was gonna be a long, drawn out process. But when I used 3M, Avery Dennison, and KPMF, the process was more understandable, more easier, and I got to focus on the mistakes that I was already making instead of making more mistakes from the vinyl and not knowing how to install it. And say for instance you have a new vinyl on hand and you're thinking about installing it, but you don't know what the quality of it is. Instead of ordering samples directly from the wholesaler, what you should do is contact other people that have wrapped before that are really good at doing it and have done it for quite a few years. Ask them those questions and then ask to see if they have samples that you can play with, so therefore you can understand if you're willing to go through that process of doing these wraps with that type of vinyl. Because what I don't want you to do is buy vinyl, spending $700 or more, and then finding out that this is not what you want. So ask yourself, do you want pleasure or pain? Pick your poison. I know you're asking, well, Rashad, what's your go-to favorite? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because my favorite is Avery Dennison. It's something that I cannot get away from. It's a lot of different colors, variations of finishes, whether it's matte, carbon fiber, gloss, color flow, you name it. It has it all in there. And it's much, much easier to work with. The quality is the same all the way throughout, except for chrome. And the installation is also the same, except for chrome. Stop. Keep saying about this chrome, and you're like, what chrome are you talking about? This chrome. Mirror finish. As a matter of fact, let me show you on another car that we've done. Yes, that car looked amazing with it. And it was also painful to do. It wasn't painful for us as what we were doing at that moment because we were 3 to 4 years in at that point, and we knew exactly how to work the vinyl. And that is what you have to understand. Start off with what you can handle first. Jumping into this, you're gonna find out that you're not in for it. You're not up for that. Let me explain why. Let's first start by taking off the vinyl. And let's tack it down. It's fairly thin. And that's good. We like that. We'll take this side down, reposition this side, and as you can see, it is still repositionable. Everything looks pretty good. Now, let's see about heating it up. We're gonna heat this up. And slowly start pulling. As you can see, it's creating little tension lines. Now we're gonna pull. Everything looks good. Hey, look at that handsome man. Okay, great. Fine, I like this. Problem 1, if we squeegee, and you squeegee the wrong way, and you leave creases, you can see some of these. That right there is a crease. Let's say if we pop this up and we wanted to get it out. The crease still doesn't go away. You can still see those lines in there. And that's gonna forever show. Even if we squeegee this all the way out, you still see those crease lines. And that is what you don't want to deal with when you're working with chrome. The next one is, say for instance we squeegeed it down and everything's working fine, but we have a little spot where we needed to pull a little bit more. So we're gonna heat this up.
Caesar Milan, how to add years to your dog's life. Sardines.
9.
Bone broth.
10.
Raw.
And you see that? See that haze right there? Yeah, you see that haze. That pretty face is no longer there because it's cloudy in this area now. And if we try to heat this back up to let it go back to its original state, then that's where you'll know that it won't ever go back to its original state. Let's try it and see.
We'll warm it up. Still there. And it's still there. Those are the problems that you will deal with when working with Chrome. So trust me, as a new installer, do not start with Chrome. It's not gonna be nice. Finish is not gonna be nice. You are gonna be mad. Yes, it can get done. Let's be clear on that. It can get done, but it won't be your best work.
Instead, start with some nice colors. You could still use some extravagant colors that are color flow, that are just vibrant, brilliant colors. For anywhere from gloss, matte, satin finishes, all the way up to metallic finishes, even some that are maybe textured. But understand, you are still starting, so don't go too far and take on something that you can't handle.
Now here's the bonus.
Do not be mad at your results if you are trying to use cheaper vinyl. It is always going to give you bad outcomes. Why? It's cheap, for one. For two, it's going to tag down strong. Three, it's not going to work the best way that you want it to work because the installation is different. Yes, I know you're trying to save $1, but a wrap like this will help you make more dollars later. Trust and believe me.
Don't you want a finished look that looks like this one? This one? This one? This one? This one? Come on, of course you do.
So use the right vinyl to start with. Because you're new. You need to understand, use something that is at your level. Yes, there's levels too. And in this video right here, I'm going to show you how I became a pro vinyl wrap installer after I learned these tips. So click in and see. I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. I know you're going to like it.
All right. Let's go ahead and join his, let me subscribe. Let to give him a like. All right, so from what I'm hearing from him, you don't have to have the same type to finish off. Let's say that you were to have 3 different colors. 2 colors can come from one, and then 1 color can come from another brand. That's kind of like something that I was picking up. Overstretching vinyl is a bad thing, and one of the main things I was hearing was just the chrome not being for beginners, as well as you can start with some gloss, some matte, or metallic, but you have to be able to figure out okay, can a D- student do this? If a D- student could not do it, then you should not do it. If you're a beginner, you should assume once you have someone around who's a little bit more skillful, then you can then get up to those more difficult colors. That chrome that he was showing really was like a teardrop. It feels like everything else is great, but then technically speaking, it's like it all depends on how much you that was spent into it. If you spent $800 for that and it came out like that, then at that point, yeah, I see you getting real mad and upset, even if it was you did it yourself, but at the same time, if, hey bro, this is material, hey, and that's one thing about getting the more expensive material, quote unquote. But my whole thing is, if you are good with your eyes, a lot of times you can find some good deals that are lower than what others would think that is possible. But you have to keep your eyes open, and you have to buy in bulk. Because when you buy in bulk, that's when you can say, hey, look, man, let me go ahead and get, this for that. And then it's like, yeah, you put $3,000 up, but this person didn't have to go to 6 different people for it, and then you didn't have to work 4 more times than the 6 that you paid for. Because in theory, it's all about negotiating and making those deals happen. So let's go ahead and get back to it. So So we're going to conclude for now, and after that, we're going to come back after lunch. Hope you enjoy yourself. And right now, I'm thinking that we're going to be looking more into Avery for the most part, because two people very talented basically say Avery's the move, and we already looked at 3M. All right, and also with the 3M thing, I am going to look into their calendar on when they're supposed to be here or there, so that way if you are in that city, then that way you'll be able to get a little extra training. Yeah, until then, let's go ahead and make moves, not tracks.